Cool Figure TV. Revolutionary salute. Revolutionary salute. Like, share, subscribe. Welcome to the House of Revolution. You know I'm your humble host, the Yaming of Revolution. The Boule Greek Freaks is upset at the FBA. But before we get into that, y'all be sure to wipe y'all feet. That means hit the like button. You in the House of Revolution. Like, share, subscribe, support the platform, y'all. Let's get right into the Boule upset with the FBA. Let's get into the content. Salute.
Have to deal with here, Michael and Nicole, is that when these ADOS people, when they spout language, the anti-immigration language, even anti-black immigration language, they sound just like Tom Emmer. They sound just like Stephen Miller. They sound just like Donald Trump. They literally, Michael, are speaking for white nationalists.
Absolutely. Is white supremacy through ventriloquism. That's what it is.
I am here. I'm still in Alabama. I was in, went down to Montgomery. I went to the Fade in the Water historic spot. As you see, I went to the Montgomery Riverboat Brawl location, the iconic civil rights location. And family, why do they have the chair there? They have the actual chair. The chair is a tourist attraction, ladies and gentlemen. The white chair was sitting out there, a lone chair. So everybody goes there. I met some other sisters who were from the Carolinas. They were there to take pictures with the chair. The chair is a tourist attraction, ladies and gentlemen. Family, the chair is a damn tourist attraction. I love it. Shout out to Alabama, shout out to Montgomery, shout out to the Gump. Man, beautiful. And you can feel the ancestral energy out there. You can feel it. And boy, it's extremely hot. Boy, it's hot as hell in Alabama. But you know what's interesting? That location where the riverboat is, the dock area. Now we really see why those white supremacists got whooped on, because there was no way for the cops to come and save them, because you can't take a car down there at all. To get to the dock, you got to go like under like a little small kind of little tunnel thing. It's like a little tunnel you have to go under, so a car can't get in there. So yeah, we see why they got whooped on like they got whooped on, and they didn't get no backup, because backup couldn't reach them. So they had to get that L. Yeah. So yeah, to see how that little spot is set up is very, very interesting. Man. Oh, they got lit up. But yeah, I had a great time out there in Montgomery. Then I went over to Selma. I went over to one of my relatives' homes in Selma. I stopped by a grave site over there. There's a historic church over there. That's on the route. There's a route from Montgomery to Selma, and there's the mother church over there. What's the name of that church? Mount Gilead Baptist Church. I think that's the name. And that's the mother church. That's like the oldest black church out there in the Selma area, Selma, Louds County. And that was the place where they were doing a lot of the organizing for the civil rights movement. That's the same church where they formed the first Black Panthers. You understand? And that was like one of the only churches at the time that was willing to have them come organize, because a lot of other places were scared because, you know, the Klan and all that stuff. So a lot of people were scared. But that church, Mount Gilead Baptist Church, that was the church that people organized. They formed the first Black Panthers. They organized a lot of the civil rights movements and marches down there. And my great grandmother and great grandfather are buried behind that church at the cemetery. There's a small cemetery behind that church. My great-grandparents are buried there, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause to them. So you know I had to go soak up some of that energy. Oh, yeah. You know I had to go. Hold on. Let me show y'all something if I can. Hold on. You know I had to go soak some of that energy up, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on. Where we at? Where we at? Let me show y'all something.
When they
tactics has Haitian ancestry, do not forget that. So he tries to get into these shaming tactics where he wants to shame us because we're not putting on the cape. We're not obligated to do anything. We're not obligated to put the cape on for nobody. All right, let's be very clear. We do not have any obligation to put the cape on for anybody. All right? So let me play this clip of Roland. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all bear with me. Let me find this. Let me find this clip of Roland. Hold on one second. This is Roland. Listen to Roland with his old shaming tactics that the Democrats told him to do. Listen.
What we have to deal with here, Michael and Nicole, is that when these ADOS FBA people, when they spout language, the anti-immigration language, even anti-Black immigration language, they sound just like Tom Emmer. They sound just.
The craziest part about what these people, the nonsense they spewing is all over Africa is anti-immigration. No African nation wants other Africans in their country. They damn near want South Africa, but behind having Kenyans and Ghanese and Zimbabwe, people from Zimbabwe in there, all over. So the white supremacy nonsense is crazy. When all over Africa, they're at war with each other about getting their fucking citizens the hell out the other country. That's just a fact. You got to know what's going on in Africa right now.
Just like Stephen Miller. They sound just like Donald Trump. They literally, Michael, are speaking for white nationalists.
Please.
Absolutely is white supremacy through ventriloquism. That's what it.
And white supremacy through ventriloquism. Man, get the hell out of here. Okay. Democrat flunkies, that ain't working. That ain't working no more. Notice the hammer is getting put down on these folks. ICE is getting them. The Supreme Court has thrown them under the bus. Megyn Kelly and people like that are throwing them under the bus. The Democrats, the white ones, ain't putting the cape on for them. All of their anger is at us, though. Y'all notice that? Whenever people get the hammer dropped on them, it becomes, you goddamn FBA, y'all FBA. Everything is on us. Notice that? Every damn time. With the tethers all in these spaces, the ICE vans are circling around their community, and all they do is blame us. Everything is all about us. Latinos, they don't say nothing to them. They don't say nothing to nobody or nothing about nobody. It's all us. Them damn FBA, y'all should have did this. Y'all should have did that. Y'all always talking about how we ain't got no power. We on the bottom. We ain't got no homeland to flee to like you. But when the damn hammer drops, we're the only thing you talk about. Anytime the hammer drops, y'all always got our name in your damn bushmeat eating mouth. Good freaking grief. Roland and people like Roland's big jolly ass, they sound like white supremacy is There's the talking point. Okay, that don't work no more, bro. That doesn't work anymore. We're not shamed by that. You're not going to shame us for caping for all these people who talked all that shit. And I love how everybody's pulling receipts on all the Haitians, by the way, because the Haitians have, for the last few years, they've been talking cash shit, and the family's been saving receipts, boy. When they're asking how come we ain't stepping to them or helping them out, people are, hey, like Exhibit 1, we're dirty Black Americans. We ain't got no culture, casa not. I mean, y'all been showing your ass for years. And then you want to wonder why we ain't doing nothing? You told us that you got it popping, you work hard, and you pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and we can learn something from you. So damn it, start teaching it. Teach us how to do it. Teach us how to Dougie. Teach us how to Dougie. Teach me how to Dougie. Because you Dougie in your ass back to your homeland. Give me a break. But let me tell you something. Listen. This shaming tactic nonsense, when the media and the left-wing media and their political operatives, they try to equate us, foundational Black American, with white supremacist talking points. That's not a good faith critique. That's a political con game. That's a tactic designed to force loyalty and compliance without them having to deliver any tangible return on investment. So they keep throwing around these extreme labels. So they
all over the world, people are complaining about immigrants. In Africa, we can start there. They're at war with one another. They don't want immigrants in a country sucking up all the resources. It ain't none of that black. This is the only place they try to pull that black man stuff. They don't get away with. These same people know damn well they can't get away with that in Africa, bro. Ain't none of that, my brother, the white man on our ass. No, because this black people doing it to them. But here, Roland can run that scam. That's white man talking points. Well, why the hell is South Africa and those countries doing this to treat each other? Kenya, why they treating each other like trash right now? Huh? Why the hell is the Democratic Republic of Congo and they can't get along with their neighbors, goddamn? Why they still at war right now? They don't want no immigrants. Why Ethiopia can't get along with their neighbor right now? They don't want no immigrants. But when it comes to us, it's the brother man con game, bro.
They can try to get us to abandon our own political bottom line and us be the muscle for groups that don't offer no reciprocity at all. You understand? Damn all that. See, they got that selective lineage loyalty. See, these media figures with these immigrant backgrounds like Roland. Roland has Haitian ancestry. You're naturally going to advocate for your own lineage. But when the TPS status decision impacts Haitians, they mobilize, they speak out, they protect their own. That's basic political survival. When foundational Black Americans do the exact thing, we prioritize our lineage, just like Roland's fat ass is prioritizing his Haitian lineage. All of a sudden, we're white supremacy, but you ain't. How that work? Yeah? That's a hypocritical ass double standard. You're allowed to sit here and cape for your fellow Haitians who ain't supposed to be here. You ain't supposed to be here forever on a damn temporary status. It's temporary. You're breaking the damn law. You understand? And when we stand on lineage business, y'all stupid, y'all MAGA, y'all some stupid fools, y'all just trying to be like Trump, y'all trying to be like the white supremacists. Go to hell. The hell out of here. The white supremacist thing, that's a deflection play. You understand? That's a major deflection because you want to shut down any legitimate conversation about resource allocation, wage depression. That immigration shit don't work for us, man, and it works against us, and we have no obligation to cape for immigration at all. We just don't. It don't work for us. You understand? And they try to shame us by associating us with white supremacist groups because you don't have an answer to the questions, you understand, about who benefits from these policies and who pays the price. Because they can't sit here and tell us any benefit that we get from mass immigration like that. There are no benefits. And then they'll start lying, talking about, well, immigrant built America. Who, where, and how? Notice they can never tell you who, where, how, and when. When did a damn immigrant build America? Who? Where? They say some shit and then run from it. You know what I'm saying? And their thing is that they just keep lying over and over. That's why they can never answer the question. The tactic is to just keep telling the lie over and over. I call it the Fat Joe tactic. When you run out here and say hip hop was created 50-50 by blacks and Latinos, and everybody's like, what Latinos? Well, we're from the Bronx, so we was there. What? Who are these Latino pioneers? And nobody can ever name them. They don't exist. Same thing with these immigrants who built America. What immigrants built America? This country was built from top to bottom by goddamn foundational Black Americans who were enslaved. What immigrants are you talking about? Who, English? They didn't have an agrarian culture. They were over here starving. So what you talking about? Come on, you got to slow walk this shit with real history. Who are you talking about? What immigrants you talking about built some shit over here without us? Because when they tried to build something by themselves, they failed. All of them failed. Come on, man. They don't want to talk real history. They just say some shit and then run off. I want to hear who, when, and where did these immigrants do all this damn building without us right there? They can never answer that question, family. They can never answer that question. Built what? What did you build? We were clearing the streets. Some of them try to say New York. Man, if you don't get the hell out of here, foundational Black Americans cleared the swamp land and the marsh to make New York what it is. We literally built Wall Street. Literally built Wall Street. That area was called like Negro land, the land of the Negroes or something like that in the 1600s. We cleared Manhattan and made that place habitable. You understand? My lady calling me this time of night. All right, but listen. But with Roland using those shaming tactics, they want to rely on the historic precedent that Black Americans will just fight for every other marginalized group. But that's an asymmetric solidarity. When we demand tangibles, see, we sit up here and we fight for all these other groups. We're in the front line for so many groups and so many movements. And we've assisted everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Every damn movement globally and domestically, we've assisted. We've kicked open the doors for damn near every group. Asians, Middle Easterns, Africans, Caribbeans, everybody. The minute we say, okay, we've done enough for a lot of people, we want to get lineage-based reparations because we've extended ourselves, helping so many people. So now it's time for us to get compensation and compensatory justice for what has been done to us. And all of these damn groups stood up in unison against us getting reparations. All of them. You understand? And then you wonder why we ain't putting the cape on no more. And this guilt trip shit ain't gonna work on us no more at all. You understand? See, these Democrat flunkies, they try to use these tactics because remember, Roland's job is to deliver the Black vote without the establishment having to deliver tangibles. That's Roland's fat ass job. That's his only objective. His objective is for him to get some money from these Democrat damn think tanks and super PACs like they did. He did with Kamala's campaign. They gave him like $300,000 last election. His job is to get his bag and to sit up here and shame us into voting for nothing, which ain't happening. And that delineation is tearing them up. This is why they don't like delineation, because the con game is over. You understand? And when we start demanding a return on our investment, instead of this empty promise nonsense, that threatens the job security of these gatekeepers. And this shaming nonsense, that's a desperate attempt to try to herd us back in line so the gatekeepers can maintain their little janky status with the establishment. That ain't working no more. You understand? Because there's a shift from emotionalism to strategic politics right now. These tactics ain't working no more because foundational Black Americans, we've transitioned out of just the emotionalism and the symbolisms. We're getting very strategic right now. Shaming relies on the target caring about optics, likability, and social acceptance. We've gotten to the point we don't give a damn about being accepted by none of y'all because we've accepted ourselves and we don't want you in our damn mix. You understand? We just let everybody know we're the club. You on the outside of the club trying to get in. It ain't the other way around. And it's always been that way, truth be told. We're the damn club. And you standing in the velvet rope in the front trying to finesse your way in. You need to get in our shit. We don't need you at all. And I'm glad we've realized that. We don't need nothing from these people because they can't provide nothing. That's why when they talk all that, immigrants built it. No, you didn't build nothing. Well, immigrants may do so much, but you don't do nothing. You didn't do nothing for your homeland. I'm not trying to be mean to people. There's some cool immigrants, but let's stop bullshitting. Don't come over here trying to wag your finger telling us how much better you are and you didn't do better in your homeland and how we need to learn from you. We don't learn from people who done fled now. There's nothing you can teach us. Roland comes from a fleeing background. There ain't a goddamn thing Roland can say to me or anybody else to shame us or shame me into doing nothing. Yeah, shout out to Montgomery, Alabama. Right. That's why family, get around some of your ancestors. Dude, I'm super charged up just being around my ancestors, going around the country or going around the South, coming down here, tapping back into my ancestors, just bathing in their greatness, touching their graves, touching the foundation. You understand? That's power in that, ladies and gentlemen. Do y'all understand that? There's power in that, where you can go down south and you can touch the graves of your ancestors who's been here for centuries. There's power in that. That makes you foundational, ladies and gentlemen. Ain't no immigrants in my family. No disrespect to the immigrants. We're not the same. You understand? I love my people who stood on business. We got to honor them. You better tap into some of your ancestors, man, and see what they've done and see what they've achieved and look at how they stood on business. They're powerful people, man. Your FBA ancestors are powerful people out here in Montgomery. You feel the ancestral energy and the fade in the water in that lake over there by the Montgomery River. You can feel that ancestral energy. You can feel it. It's all in the air. I'm telling you, it's in the air. These are folks who stood on big business. You understand? Ain't no flea and tether about to sit here and shame me out of shit. You understand? That ain't working no more. At all. And truth be told, you want to be real? The white tea people can't even stand on that type of lineage business. They can't even go to grave sites like that, like we can. If you want to be real, a lot of them can't. Most of them are Ellis Islanders. You want to be real? They can't even touch on the graves of their ancestors who's been here for centuries. Like you, FBA family. These are new booties. They Johnny come damn lately. That's why you don't see a lot of their cemeteries like you think, by the way. You want to be real? Why you think every time they dig up something, every time they do an excavation, they digging up Negroes? Huh? It never digging them up. Every time they do an excavation somewhere, all over, even in New York, every time they dig up something in New York, they're digging up a bunch of Negroes. You notice that? Remember they dug up a Negro burial site, was hundreds of black folks buried up there? Hell, remember when the World Trade came down? What was under the World Trade? A damn slave ship. You remember? How many of y'all remember that? Google that. When the World Trade went down, there was a damn slave ship under that. They tried to play it off. It was a cargo ship. What the hell was the cargo? Yeah. Every time they do an excavation somewhere, they're digging up some damn Negroes. We been here, y'all. And I don't believe all of them were slaves either, by the way. I don't believe all of them were slaves that they're digging up. They try to say, oh, there's a slave site. I don't believe all of them were slaves. You know? Yeah, Seneca Village. Yeah, New York, Seneca Village. Come on now. Come on. Let's keep it a being. We're buried all over the place. You don't see them digging up Europeans who's been here for a long time, you never really, to be honest, you don't really see that. Yeah, man. But the thing is, man, with the rolling types and all these people trying to shame us, family, you got a lot of triple dipping tethers out here. You know what a triple dipping tether is? The triple dipping tether, man, they sit here and they need us to be generic Africans. Let me break it down. Let me break this down. The triple dipping tethers, it's very imperative for us to be generic Africans. They got to have this old globalized black generic blackness identity that's on us. That's not a call for unity. See, they need us lumped into this generic monolith category so it can erase specific, unique historical debts owed to us. They need us to accept that generic label because our distinct history is an anchor that validates the civil rights and affirmative action frameworks that they rely on. So their triple dipping is like a sophisticated resource finesse. The tethers, they got a fluid identity. They can get 3 distinct pools of resources. You understand? They can get social, political, and economic capital by being African when they apply for some international grants or diversity initiatives or looking for some global representation. You understand? They can be Caribbean or national when they're networking within specific immigrant enclaves. And then they can slide into the Black American identity when tapping into resources and scholarships and quotas built off our blood, sweat, and tears. It's a triple damn dip. So they're African or Caribbean when it's convenient. Or, well, really, because the Caribbeans play the African card too. So they can be African when it's convenient. Oh, we all African. Some of the Puerto Ricans even try that. Even Fat Joe, we all African. Hip hop is African. We all African. You see, they can play the African card, the whole we all African. They can play that card. Then they can play it's Caribbean or Nigerian or specific ethnic group that they're from. They can play that card. And then they can just do the Black American. Since they over here, I was born here, so I'm a Black American. So if we got a Juneteenth scholarship, there's always some damn Afro-Latinos and people with these West African last names, even East African last names, running for the damn Juneteenth money. You understand? So it's a big old finesse, man. They triple dip. Who's that? Somebody said, what's wrong with talking about FBA? Who is that? Who is that? Who is that? What's wrong with talking about FBA? Who is that? Who is that? Zaza? Who's Zaza? What's up, man? Oh, Zaza, what's up? Zaza, what's going on? Hop in, Zaza.
Hey, Tariq.
Hey, beloved, what was the question?
Oh, hey. I love your content. I love everything you do, of course. And I was just saying, I was trying to just reply to one gentleman that said that all you did was talk about FBA. And instead of directly replying to him, I've typed it. And I was asking him, what's wrong with talking about FBA?
Oh, okay. What was he saying?
He said, why you always talking about FBA? And I just was like, what do you mean? Like, what's wrong with talking about FBA people? Like,
okay, right.
Yeah, he in here somewhere.
Okay, point him out. We get him on. Thank you, dear. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, we talk about us because y'all talk about us all the damn time. Stephen, hop on in, Stephen. Man. Stephen, hop on in. All right, come on in and talk. Because y'all talk about us all the damn time. Hell, we can talk about ourselves. But yeah, this delineation be just tearing y'all up. Just what that delineation be tearing you up.
We'll work for you. Nah, then else will
That's the hot topic of the day. The Supreme Court and their birthright citizenship decision, ladies and gentlemen. This has been an issue that's been on the table. As we know, Trump has put out some executive orders as it relates to the TPS, the temporary protective status of certain immigrant groups. There was a victory with that with the Trump administration. The Supreme Court said, hey, the temporary protective status, some of these folks got to go. They've been here long enough. They violated the status and they got to go. And it's going to affect a lot of Haitians and Syrians. And another thing that was on the table was just the 14th Amendment birthright citizenship within itself. The whole decision or the conversation or the argument was that people coming over here using the 14th Amendment, that wasn't the intention of the 14th Amendment. The argument was from Trump and others was that the 14th Amendment was specifically made to grant citizenship, full citizenship, to the babies of slaves, to the descendants of slaves. That would be us foundational Black Americans. That was the purpose of it, to grant us citizenship. It was not intended for people to hop over here with anchor babies and drop off their anchor babies. That wasn't the main intention of it, all right? So it was a very close decision, ladies and gentlemen. The Supreme Court, basically, it was a 5-4 vote. The 5-4 vote meant that the decision was standing on very shaky ground. They look at the 14th Amendment as the ultimate shield. So to understand this whole fight, you got to understand the 14th Amendment of the Constitution that was put together to make sure that we, the descendants of slaves, freedmen, who was born on American soil, we would get automatic citizenship. Today, 5 of the judges said that's an invisible shield that protects everybody born here, and the president just can't use an executive order to rip that shield away. Now, because there was a 5-4 split, only 5 judges voted to say the Constitution protects birthright citizenship. That means that that shield is very thin. And if one of those judges leaves the court in the future or they get replaced by another judge who disagrees, the vote could flip the other way. Justice Kavanaugh left the back door open. Brett Kavanaugh voted with the majority to stop the president's order, which made the score look like 6-3. But he did he kind of did a finesse. He refused to say that the Constitution protects birthright citizenship. Instead, he said the president can't change this rule by himself, but Congress can change the rule. So with him doing that, that left a screen door open for the future. So Congress can come in and bring this thing back to the Supreme Court. And they do have another argument. So this is not locked in stone, all right? So I know a lot of the tethers have been very celebratory. The tethers are really doing tap dancing with them flip-flops, but this isn't really permanent. This is more like a pause button. See, the main takeaway is that the Supreme Court decision was not a permanent green light for birthright citizenship. It was more like a pause button. That 5-4 split and the loophole that Kavanaugh pointed out, that the Congress can pass a new law and send it right back to the Supreme Court. And they can potentially change American citizenship rules forever, all right? So got to understand that part of the game. Now, why did many of the justices say, okay, we want to uphold birthright citizenship? We got to understand something, family. A lot of those Supreme Court justices, let's be very real, they benefited from the 14th Amendment, birthright citizenship. You understand that? Many of them benefited from it. People kind of forget that. Justice Samuel Alito, his people immigrated here from Italy. They benefited off that 14th Amendment. You know, they came in the early 20th century. Y'all got to understand, a lot of people who are classified as white, they came later. They're Ellis Island babies. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of these people are Ellis Islanders. They don't have no real deep roots over here like that. So Alito's family came over later, benefited from that 14th Amendment. Justice Elena Kagan, she has Russian Jewish grandparents. They came over here in the early 20th century. You understand? That 14th Amendment helped them. You understand? Justice Roberts, they come from an Irish Welsh background. I think his family was Slavic immigrants from Hungary. I think they came over in the very late 1900s, late 1800s, early 1900s. That helped his family. Even Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh's family came over from Ireland in 1878. So they benefited from that. You see? Amy Barnett, her family, I think they're French or something like that. And I think they were down in New Orleans. They immigrated to New Orleans. Sonia Sotomayor, she's Puerto Rican. All right. So the person who stood on business was Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas, who's FBA. He's done some Sambo things, but he stood on business as far as this. He was the main one saying, hey, the 14th Amendment was for the descendants of slaves, the babies of slaves, the children of slaves. So a lot of these people on the Supreme Court, they benefited from that 14th Amendment. You got to understand that. See, here's the con game that people are not telling you. See, the birthright citizenship is not just for the brown people and, the dark melanated people. That's kind of the propaganda frame. They want the public to believe that birthright citizenship is really about Mexicans and Haitians and Africans and Caribbeans and all that. And all the non-white people trying to anchor themselves into America. But that's not the full story. Birthright citizenship, that's been one of the main ways this country absorbed immigrants into the country as unquestioned Americans. And a lot of those immigrants were white Europeans. So when the Supreme Court, they protect birthright citizenship, they're not just protecting some modern non-white immigration pipeline, ladies and gentlemen. They're protecting that same constitutional machine that helped turn European immigrants' families into regular white Americans. You understand? Let's be real. They know that birthright citizenship helped build modern white America. See, people ain't talking about it from that angle. A lot of these white ethnic groups, they were not fully seen as American when they first came over here. The Irish were not fully white American. The Italians were not white American. The Jews were not considered white American. Many of the Eastern Europeans were not considered white American. Hell, Germans at one point weren't even considered really white. All that Aryan shit they start talking later. The Germans over here, they were like, no, you swarthy. No, you swarthy, buddy. They were treated like outsiders. But once their children were born here, those children had a constitutional claim to America. You see? They had the first generation foreigner, second generation, quote, American. Third generation, suddenly, all of a sudden, they act like they built the damn country from scratch, which isn't true. But birthright citizenship made that transition smooth. You understand? So the real fear is not immigration. The fear is losing control over which immigrant counts. See, when the immigration is black or non-white, they'll call it an invasion. But when the immigration feeds the population, it's heritage, it's settlement, it's opportunity, it's hard work, it's the American dream and all that stuff. But the Supreme Court, they understand if you destroy birthright citizenship, you're not just going to hit the melanated immigrants. You'll destabilize citizenship for white Americans or white immigrants too. You see? That's what they don't want. They want to slam the door on certain people, but they don't want to break the door completely. You understand? So the 14th Amendment, that was from foundational Black American struggle. But white immigrants came to America. They became the biggest beneficiaries of it. See, that's the thing they don't want to talk about. White folks couldn't come over here if it were not for Black people kicking in that 14th Amendment thing. And remember, the 14th Amendment was a Black grassroots movement. You've probably heard me talk about this before. All right. The 14th Amendment, that was a Black grassroots movement, ladies and gentlemen. You had foundational Black Americans all over this country. Frederick Douglass was one of them. He was one of the prominent voices talking about citizenship. He was actively confronting the government. In 1866, he had a delegation to the White House directly challenging Andrew Johnson, the president, Andrew Johnson, on civil rights and all that stuff. So other people like William Nesbitt out of Pennsylvania, he was the president of the Pennsylvania State Equal Rights League, and he was a master of grassroots mobilization. You had John Mercer Langston, that was the national president of the Equal Rights League. He was a strategic mind behind building up the nationwide grassroots infrastructure to push the 14th Amendment. You had Brother Octavius Cato. He was a brilliant strategist. He was working with Frederick Douglass and William Nesbitt to mobilize the Black masses. You had George Downing, that was a wealthy foundational Black American businessman and organizer. He was putting pressure on the ground in Washington, D.C. for the full citizenship. Sisters like Frances Ellen Harper, who was going through the South after the Civil War, speaking to large crowds of recently freed slaves, organizing them politically. Henry Highland Garnett, I know y'all probably heard that name. Henry McNeil Turner. I'm just throwing a lot of names of these people you can look up who were foundational Black American, who were very instrumental in getting the 14th Amendment and pushing it and pressuring politicians to solidify our citizenship on a federal level. All right. And a lot of these white immigrants benefited from that Black grassroots movement. You understand? And they don't want to talk about it from that standpoint. But that's very, very important, ladies and gentlemen. But the thing is, man, we got to understand with this decision, the tethers have been really, really antagonistic about it. They're like, oh, look, you FBA's lost. I've been seeing that. Some tethers talking about because of this decision, we lost. What the hell we lose? What the hell we didn't lose nothing? Our status was never in jeopardy. We were never in damn jeopardy. We didn't lose shit. It's just the same old, same old. We cool. We're not running around having anchor babies. We ain't, the threat of us getting deported was never there. So we're cool. And let me tell you something very interesting about this thing, which is a good thing for us, ladies and gentlemen. Notice how the conversation about the 14th Amendment and birthright citizenship, it all centers around foundational Black Americans. It centers us. You understand? This Supreme Court decision and the whole conversation about it, family, this gave a civics class on who foundational Black Americans are. You understand? This forced the country to admit that the birthright citizenship fight comes directly out of the legal status of Black people who descended from freedmen in America. This is the exact lineage we're delineating. So this whole conversation destroys the whole thing when people act dumb. What is FBA? What's the Foundation of Black American? What is that? This destroys that. All right? The minute birthright citizenship hit the Supreme Court, everybody knew how to get specific. They were not saying that this amendment was about Africans. They did not say this amendment was about immigrants. They're not saying that this was about some vague global identity. They had to mention Dred Scott. They had to say freedmen. They had to say descendants of slaves. They had to say people born in America who were denied citizenship because of slavery. That is exactly the group foundational Black Americans are talking about. So when people try to act slow and act dumb, well, what is FBA? I mean, y'all Native American? What is that? You know, we're the people who the Supreme Court is talking about. We're the people who the 14th Amendment was initially about. That's who we are. So you can't sit up here and act dumb and play like you don't understand. That amendment was written in response to a specific injury against a specific people. The 14th Amendment was not created because America was confused about everybody on earth. They created it because America created a very specific constitutional crime against a very specific domestic Black population. You understand? See, that Dred Scott decision said Black people descended from the enslaved were not a part of the political community. The Supreme Court's birthright citizenship opinion explains that the Dred Scott decision made blood, not soil, the rule for the Black population. So if you were born here, raised here, and subjected to American power, the system tried to still say that your enslaved ancestry excluded you from citizenship. So that was what the whole fight was about. You understand? So that's not everybody's Black. That was a very specific thing done to a very specific people. And foundational Black Americans, we were subjected to American jurisdiction before we were allowed to enjoy American citizenship fully on a federal level. See, that's why they kept driving that subject to the jurisdiction line over and over. They kept mentioning that line. That was a very pivotal line in the decision, the subject to the jurisdiction. That's not some abstract legal phrase. Black Americans understood what that phrase means. Our ancestors were under American law when America wanted labor. We were under American law when America wanted us to pay taxes, because we had to pay taxes when we were, living as free people of color and all that. We still had to. We were taxed. We were under American law when they wanted to punish us. We were under American law when America wanted slave patrols. We were under American law when America wanted to have fugitive slave acts and fugitive slave enforcement. We were under American law when America wanted to control us. We were under American law when they were down there in Florida fighting the Seminoles. They sent the U.S. Army to fight those Black Seminoles down there. So we were subjected to the law, but when it came time to give rights, citizenship, and due process and equal protection and political belonging, suddenly they wanted to pretend we were outsiders. We said, we are no damn outsiders. This is our shit. We stood on that. We let them know this is ours too. And damn near more so because we built it. That's why the 14th Amendment matters. You understand? You can't keep a people under your jurisdiction for centuries and build the nation off their labor and then claim that they're not part of the nation. See, the white supremacists, they thought they were going to create a little white ethno state. And we said, no, you're not going to do that. That ain't happening. So the thing is, the ruling proves that immigrants can benefit from the 14th Amendment without being the people the amendment was originally aimed at. You see? And the Supreme Court, their conversation separated race from lineage. See, Black is a race, African is a continental origin, immigrant is a migration status. But when we say foundational Black American, that's a lineage tied to American slavery and the making of the United States. So the 14th Amendment was not about skin tone. It was about a population with a specific legal relationship to this country. See, that's why foundational Black American delineation is very necessary. Because if you just say Black people just say any Black immigrant, Obama's Black. They run around here, he's the first Black president. Obama's a Kenyan tether. You know what I'm saying? If you say African, that's anybody too. You erase American legal history. You say people of color, you get a Afro-Latino. You know? But when you say foundational Black American, that names the group that America tried to keep as property, tried to keep us as non-citizens. That's why that term is very, very important. And this decision showed that we're not guests in this country. We're literally part of the foundation. This whole Supreme Court centered around us being the foundation of that constitutional ruling. See, we were not added to America later. America was built around our labor and then rebuilt around our citizenship question. You see, even before the United States was even formed, our ancestors were already subjected to the United States. And after the U.S. was formed, Our ancestors were under American authority during Reconstruction, under American authority, during Jim Crow, under American authority, during civil rights, under American authority. So nobody can sit here and talk to us like we're some outside optional side group. We're not an immigrant subgroup. You understand? We're not generic Africans. You know, we are literally the foundation of this nation. We have a constitutional relationship with this nation. We are the oldest, longest continuous ethnic group here. Do y'all understand that? I want people to really get that part of the game. We're the longest continuous ethnic group here. Because a lot of people who are classified as white now, they weren't classified as white back in the day. They became white later. I really want y'all to understand that part of the game, family. Let's get P. Ray in here. P. Ray is a conservative. Miss P. Ray, hop on in, P. Ray. Me talk to Miss P. Ray. P. Ray, hop on in, man.
Hey, how you doing? Thank you so much for letting me come on your stage. You are that guy. Okay, so thank you.
I try to be. Go ahead, dear.
So I've been just watching all of the comments and all of the feedback on this. As we know, we drive American culture. Okay,
Yes,
us.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we need to do in this moment is really push for the U.S. government to make sure that pregnancy tests are a part of all immigration processes now.
Okay.
Every embassy, every consulate, whenever someone applies to come to the United States of America, they have to go through a medical clearance. And so now we want pregnancy tests to be a part of that medical clearance. Also, if you are living on a visa in the United States of America, now we need them to renew them every 6 months. And during that 6-month renewal period, if you are pregnant and you are here on a non-resident visa, it's time to go home, honey. That's it. That's all we need to do for now. Now on, we just need to focus on finding the appropriate allies within Congress. Your reach is humongous, so you know how to do that. The people who listen to you have power as well. All we need to do is start lobbying and advocating with Congress to implement those two things, and we can clean all of this up really fast. You know, we don't even have to talk about the Supreme Court. They did their part. Now it's time to turn the page and get to work. And now that comes through congressional lobbying. And based on what I've been seeing from Congress people just on this app, I think that those allies already exist. So if we put our collective political capital behind that, we can definitely have this done before the end of the year. Straight up.
There it is. All right. Thank you so much, beloved.
Thank you for letting me speak.
Absolutely, P. Ray. Thank you, dear. All right. But it's getting it's very, very interesting. It's very, very interesting. But yeah, a lot of these people, a lot of politicians are going to start doing things locally because they're going to go around and they're going to still stop a lot of people from coming over. That whole birth tourism shit, they're going to cut all that out. They're going to start creating laws to just stop people coming over here with all that. You understand? Because again, the 14th Amendment was not meant for people to hop on planes and just drop kids off of. Man, come on, dude. Yeah, and a lot of people are doing it. The Asian, they're doing it. They got a whole ring of people doing it. They have whole birth tourism rings. So, that's not a good look. You bringing over people and allowing people who have dual allegiances to come over and try that and pull that. No. That can't happen. And again, but like I said, they're not going to really strike down that 14th Amendment altogether because it benefits too many white people. All right. It benefits way too many of them. In fact, that helped give them a lot of power in the late 1800s. A lot of politicians back then, they realized that a lot of these first generation European children coming over, they represented a large untapped voting bloc. And those political machines, they exchanged jobs, housing, and resources for votes for those new European citizens. They allowed them to stack up local and state governments so they can control municipal budgets. Same thing what they're trying to do with Hispanics and all these other people. They flood them over here and hopefully they use them as a voting bloc. The problem is they're not a dependable voting bloc. They're not consistent because Hispanics come over here off Democrat policies and then they try to align with white supremacy and start voting Republican. So they're not that reliable of a voting bloc. You know what I'm saying? That's what's biting them in the ass. It's very, very heavy. It's very, very heavy. But understand, the 14th Amendment was created to protect foundational Black Americans, and the broad application of it strategically diluted Black political power to a certain degree. During that exact same period that European immigrants were using birthright citizenship to consolidate power and assimilate into the white majority. You see? That sound familiar? Remember, late 1800s, we fought to get the 14th Amendment implemented. Then all of a sudden, they opened up the floodgates and let all these Europeans come over here, giving them all types of goodies. The Homestead Act, hey, if you're white and European, you come over here, you get free land in the West. Well, we can't, the Black folks can't get that land, but you Europeans can get it. That sound familiar? Hispanic immigrants, y'all come on over here. We got job training, we got job placements, we got housing, we got credit cards, debit cards for you. Now, when Black folks say, hey, you know, we kind of need compensatory justice, they send out a Punjabi Jamaican mammy who tells us she can't do nothing that's only going to benefit Black people. No. You see how that works? So, yeah, we got to be on top of our game. The great thing is this conversation centered us. It centered our lineage. So nobody can act dumb about the lineage. And I've been talking about how now that people have recognized our lineage, recognized that we are a unique lineage, we need protections that are lineage-based. We're going to have to start getting hate crime laws and crime bills for that lineage that the Supreme Court is talking about, that foundational Black American lineage, and compensatory justice. That's going to strengthen the conversation for reparations as well, ladies and gentlemen. We're absolutely going to strengthen that conversation. But the thing is, I notice a lot of the tethers, well, they've been really attacking us. They're like, yeah, Luca, we're here, nigga. We're still here. We're not going nowhere. Deal with it. Okay. We are here. We're not leaving. But I thought y'all told us you had a home to go to. Weren't y'all telling us you had a home? If things got hot, you had a home to go to? Yeah, hey, you were biting your nails waiting on that Supreme Court decision. You know? You were kicking and screaming at the thought, and some of you are still going because they still removing you because of that temporary protective status. So a lot of you are still getting up out of here. So trying to be antagonistic to us, I don't know what that's going to accomplish. You understand? Hold on, Giselle, is that? Let's see, we got a Democrat shield. Giselle, TS.
Good evening. I'm actually speaking to you in the same time zone, Tariq. I'm in Las Vegas. It was my birthday last week. The Queen turned 39 years old, my last year of my 30s. So I need
39?
Huh?
39?
Yeah.
I don't believe that. But go ahead. Go ahead.
Why don't you believe that?
Go ahead. You were born in 1939, but go ahead.
No,
What's
I
on
was
your
born
mind?
in 1987. Anyway, I came to say that Tariq, like, you're just babbling like this. You talk about tether babble. Well, this is FBA babble. Tariq, I'm going to tell you, this was a bona fide loss by the delineation crowd. For 5 years on this app, all y'all have been talking about is birthright citizenship, immigrants. Trump's going to end birthright citizenship. You had many people, while you guys wouldn't admit to being Trump supporters, though we know that you are, the main reason, hold on.
No, don't come up here with Democrat shield talking points. I didn't vote for Trump. I didn't vote for nobody. But go ahead. You're not gonna lie now. That's what the DNC has y'all flunkies just lie, just tell the same lie over and over. No. How is this a loss for us? I want to know how we losing. We ain't dropping
So
off.
it wasn't a loss for Black Americans. It was a loss for FBA or people that support delineation.
That's what a Black American is. There's no organization or no separate group. The foundational Black American is 49 million Black Americans who are foundational. That's what a foundational Black American is. You can't call up making up a non-existent group.
I mean, that's not what I said. All I'm saying is for 5 years, I've been arguing with you and many people in this room about the issue of immigration and citizenship in this country. And I don't think that I haven't been convinced. I have not heard a good argument from people that identify as FBA as to why birthright citizenship needed to end. It's very clear in the Constitution. I mean, it was ridiculous to think that Donald Trump's EO or his executive order would have repealed birthright citizenship. Is pretty staunch and clear in the U.S. Constitution. And as a matter of fact, the Supreme Court is still a disgrace because it should have been 9-0 vote. It shows how
it was very close, and the door is open for them to go and change it again. So yeah, they're not out of the water. They're not out there. You see how close that is? That 5-4 vote. That's extremely close.
Yeah, but that's a disgrace, Tariq. Based off of how citizenship is described in the U.S. Constitution. Anyway, what I wanted to say was, what's going to be your next, where are you guys going next? Because the citizenship, that's ended today with the Supreme Court decision. So where are the tangibles?
No, it's not, because you got that TPS has been revoked. So yeah, they're getting folks up out of here. So
but TPS...
Where they're getting people up out of here. So yeah, where's the tangibles for that? They're getting up out of here.
So are we any closer to reparations as Black American people? Almost 2 years into the Trump administration.
Yeah, got to get all the people who oppose it up out of here. All these people who we sit up here and help come over. We help these people get over, and they're the main ones going against reparations. They use our 14th Amendment that was meant for us to step on and get in this country, and they're the first ones to tell us we shouldn't get no damn reparations. So yes, some of them getting up out of here is helping us get reparations. Now we got the riffraffs out, and we can focus and not have people undermine us, right?
Okay. Well, anyway, I'm just winding down my birthday celebration. My birthday was last week, but I celebrate the entire month. Yeah. Anyway, the queen is out. Peace.
All right.
Okay. And I like donations for my...
Okay. Out of here, all that bussy babble. All right, let's see who else we got in here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see who else we got. All right. Yeah, we didn't lose shit. Let's be very, very clear. We didn't lose a thing, ladies and gentlemen. We're fine. It's just everything is the same old, same old. Nothing really changed for us. We're cool in the gang. And yeah, and Democrat shields, and let me tell you, all that trying to reframe our lineage into some group, y'all been trying that shit for the last 5 years. Delineation is huge now. Foundational Black American acknowledgement is institutionalized. You have government institutions, academic institutions, educational institutions, medical institutions recognizing us as foundational Black Americans. So all of that trying to reframe that Democrat desperation, that shit don't work. Y'all stop it. The Democrats want us to be a generic African group, which we're not, and that we're not going back to that. I don't know what y'all think y'all gonna do. That shit ain't working. All right? At all. Yeah, the FBA delineation is here. You can't really do anything about it. It can't be reversed. All right? This Supreme Court decision showed that they went on and on about us and our ethnic group. They know that we are a distinct ethnic group, and that Constitution and that 14th Amendment was specifically for a specific ethnic group. So yeah, it's too late to play dumb. All right? Let me see who we got. Y'all raise your hand, family. Let's get those hands up. Let's get the party prince. Let me get some. Oh, I see Sister Brooke in here. Let me get the party prince. Then I'll get Sister Brooke. Party prince.
Hey, what's up, Flex? How you feeling, man?
Good, man. How are you, sir?
Doing good, doing good. Man, I just wanted to tell you happy birthday, man. Happy birthday.
I appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
Also, it's my birthday as well, man. July 1st. I know we crazy as hell, man, but I tell people.
Shout out to my fellow Cancer.
Absolutely, man. We keep it real, man. And I always say, man, you know, I got two uncles who July 1st as well. So we got a family full of us, man. Hey, when we friends, man, with you, we friends for life, man. And so keep doing what you're doing, man, and keep putting on for our lineage.
No doubt. Brooke, love it. Sister Brooke.
Hello.
Hey, Brooke.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, beloved.
You're welcome. I just wanted to add to the conversation of the birthright citizenship. There is a book that I recommend that every American read. It is called The Invisible Coup, right? Mm-hmm. And in this book, it talks about how thank God we're not on TikTok, so I could just actually talk. So it talks about how the Chinese, what they're doing, like we a lot of people, you know, are looking at the Afro immigrants are constantly centering themselves in this conversation, like we're only concerned about them. They are a drop in the bucket when it comes to that birthright citizenship. The Chinese are the problem.
Yes.
The Chinese are mailing their sperm and mailing their eggs over here, getting a surrogate to implant them into a surrogate, and then have the baby sent back to China. This is going on, and then the people that you now imagine you have to be of a certain class to be able to do that. So the people who are doing this in China are high-ranking people, high-ranking officials in the People's Republic of China. And so not only that, but there's a guy here who owns a company, and he has a compound, a Chinese man who has a compound, and he's got there was a Black woman, as a matter of fact. She was the surrogate, and she realized that, you know, the person that she was a surrogate for had done this many times over. They were Chinese nationals again. So they're birthing these children. Oh, and there was a Chinese man on a compound, and he had about 20 kids that he birthed in this way, you know, with surrogates and implantation. And so what they're doing is they're raising Chinese nationals or people or children with Chinese national values, and they're American citizens. So God knows what's going to happen when these children become adults. They will be able to vote. They will be able to run for office. They will be able to have all full citizenship, but being raised over there in China under the People's Republic of China. And this is what people don't understand. And this is why, you know, I'm glad to listen to you and your take on it, because it does give me a lot more hope. But when I forgot the young lady's name, I know she's running for something, but she was up here talking about how we need to start with pregnancy tests. It should go beyond pregnancy tests, right? Because laws need to be changed where that if you are a surrogate, you know what I'm saying, that's against the law. Like you don't get citizenship through a surrogate where the DNA holders, you know, parents are not even in the country. You know what I mean? Like there needs to be laws set up for that. And I just want to make sure that like people are aware of how deep this birthright citizenship is being taken advantage of. And there's no way that the people, you know, the founding fathers, and I'm using air quotes, the founding fathers could have foreseen surrogates and mailing sperm, and you know what I mean? There's no way that they could have foreseen that being a possibility to take place in this year of our Lord 2026. Yeah. And I'll end again.
That's beloved. Thank you, dear. Okay.
Well, there's some Haitian people that keep discussing about the ending of temporary protected status. And we know the term temporary means what it means. It doesn't mean forever. It means a short amount of time. But a lot of people that came through temporary protected status have been here, some of them 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, all on temporary protected status. And now the U.S. Supreme Court has said that the executive branch, which is the Trump administration, can end TPS. And Trump decided to end the TPS for Haitians and Syrians by July the 1st, which would be, at the filming of this video, would be tomorrow. But there have been people within the Haitian community making videos, not about that, but making videos about FBA, Foundational Black Americans, okay? Foundational Black Americans had nothing to do with any of this, okay? Nothing. Only thing we did is Foundational Black Americans is just kind of, we're staying out the way. Hey, everybody do what they do. But I want you to watch what this guy says, the real reason why FBA don't like Haitians. It's coming from him. It's not coming from us. Let's go ahead and check that out.
The FBA happy that Haitians getting deported. Look, man, one thing about us Haitians, y'all can never say we hated on you. Yeah. I'm saying y'all can say it, but y'all can't really prove it. Y'all can show us not nowhere where Haitians did anything to y'all. You feel me? All I'm hearing is, this one lady said dirty Black American. Yeah, y'all can mention that, but at the end of the day, like, Haitians show you have nothing but love. You know what I'm saying? So one person can't represent the entire nation. You know what I'm saying? Because we ain't never hated on nobody. We're the most loving people that I know. Saying so, at the end of the day, we ain't did nothing to y'all, and I know why a lot of y'all hate us, but we still love y'all, man. I'm saying, but I know it's because the girls love us, so y'all gotta hate. It's all good.
Let me get this straight. First of all, it's comical. Black Americans, FBA in particular, hate Haitians because y'all getting girls. Well, what about the women who are FBA? They're not hating on you because of that. If they like men, that is the most silly and asinine thing you can say, sir. Now, let me give you some truth. When we wake up in the morning as Black Americans, we're not thinking about any Haitians. I'll be honest with you. We're not. That's not on the top of our mind. When we wake up in the morning, we're not thinking about TPS. We're not thinking about anything. We're thinking about how our day's going to go, going to work, got to pay these bills, deal with these kids if we got them. Maybe the dog, the cat, with anything else that you have, right? You think about those things. What's going on with your wife, your husband, whatever the case may be. No, that's not what we're thinking about as Haitians. When we have conversations among each other, we're not even laughing at you. Okay? We're not. We're living our lives because we have a lot going on here in this United States of America. Another thing, sir, is that you don't occupy our time like that, and we don't have no hate for nobody. That's the thing. We don't have no hate for nobody because we had hatred. Trust me, you would know. Now, people online leaving comments to you and talking about, you say they celebrating that you being deported. How do you know that's even Black people? You don't even know. But let's say if it is, they could talk all day long. They're not going to be the one picking you up or your family up. They're not going to be the one putting you in ICE facilities. They're not going to be putting you on the planes to send you back to your homeland. We don't, as a community, have nothing to do with it. Why are we keep getting mentioned? You're mentioning some random Black people who's saying things to you online. Remember, online, not at your home, not at your job, nowhere that can even affect you. Online. Let me tell you something. I know I'm going to give you a secret. You can log out of that app and you won't even know what they say anymore. Matter of fact, you can even turn your comments off and you won't even hear nothing they got to say. It's many ways to not even engage with FBA unless you're just trying to go through and see videos, okay, and they may pop up, but you could scroll, you can block, and that way they don't even come up in your algorithm anymore. You understand? There's many ways you don't have to even engage with any FBAs even online. But it's crazy you have more smoke for Black Americans, but don't have no smoke for the white folk that's going to round you up and get you out of here. That's what I don't understand. Y'all, please help me understand this. Because like I said, I don't know everything. I'm still learning like the rest of you, okay? Maybe I got this thing confused, and so I'm reaching out for help. And what I'm asking y'all is this. If we are not the one as a community made the decision to end your TPS, if we aren't the people that's going to go round you up and put you in nice detention facilities and put you on a plane and get you back to your homeland, if we're not doing all of that, we're not the one going to end your green cards. We're not going to end your work permits. Black Americans not going to do any of that to you. And you worrying about some Black folks that's tee ha 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 online than the folks that's going to do this stuff to you to really affect you. And now because of citizenship, birthright citizenship, if you got a kid and you on TPS, the kid can stay, but you can't. Unless you're taking your kid with you. And a lot of you probably not going to want to take your kid with you. So, sir, what are you talking about? I'm trying to figure this out. Y'all so mad at some Black people online that you don't even know if they're Black, but even if they are, who cares if they're laughing? Who cares? Megyn Kelly just had an alt-right rant at y'all. Y'all not saying nothing about what Megyn Kelly said. She was cussing about y'all. She was saying, go back to, you say, even effing Haiti. That's what she was saying. She said y'all ruining the country. Y'all want to assimilate. She's saying all this stuff about y'all. And y'all keep making videos talking about FBA was laughing at us. FBA was talking about us. FBA this, FBA that. Oh my God. Like grow up. Address the people that's going to do some harm to Haitians. Not some person online who you don't even know is not even. I can care less for somebody to say in a comment section. I don't know them people. You know how many people say stuff about me on any platform I'm on? I don't even see it half of the time. Be honest with you. Unless somebody really brings something to my attention, I don't see it. And if they say something stupid or crazy, I just block them. And that's it. It's no problem. I'm not sitting here make videos about this, but like y'all keep this is the second video that come across my desk where but I'm still getting back to it. So people hating on I guess the Black men in particular, hating on Haitian men because a girl, like you serious? Like no, I promise you, Black American men been getting women for a very long time. And they're going to be getting women after you're gone. I promise you. And my thing is this, maybe you get you some good Haitian women. Some women from the soil of Haiti that's full of your culture, full of your lineage, your blood, and your language. That's the women you're going to be able to get, sir. Is get some good Haitian women and marry them good Haitian women. Because they need husbands. And take care of them. Provide all things you need to do as a man. Love your good Haitian woman. Honor her. Help her with your kids. Help her also clean the house. Don't just be laying around. Help her clean the house. Give her a break sometime. Take care of them kids. Let her have a day to herself sometime. Take care of that good Haitian woman when you're in Haiti. That's the woman you need to be focused on about getting. It's some good Haitian women. Don't worry about what FBA got going on. We'll be in America minding our business and figuring this stuff out, whatever it may be. Okay. And you mentioned the woman that said dirty Black American. I didn't play it because we all didn't seen that video. They said, oh, that's one person said, no, she wasn't the only one that made these little comments about Black Americans. Listen, we're not that silly to react a certain way because of one person. No, we look at patterns. Now, that one person could be the stick that broke the camel's back, but that one person don't just get a reaction. No, then we'll tell you something, but that'd be the end of it. And even then, bro, we're not even talking about that girl. Like, you know, now some people like, hey, where's she at right now? They in the TPS. Where's she at? Everybody want to know where she at because we ain't seen her online or nothing like that since that video. But bro, y'all got way more issues to be dealing with, my bro, than worrying about what FBAs are doing, getting women. Like I said, get you some good Haitian women when you go back home. That's the women you need to focus on at this point. Actually, women would be the last my focus if I had, you know, my TPS got revoked. Women would not be in my mind. But they cut off some wild cockamamie excuses about us. Like, Lord, we not the one that's gonna deport you, sir. Go talk to them white folks. They the one deporting you.
Enough is enough. This is not acceptable.
Haitian immigrant advocates like Dr. Gerald Gabot gathered on the Grand Staircase steps just hours after the 6-3 ruling.
You must have a conscience. I dare you to go to sleep tonight and sleep well when you know that more than 350,000 people are not going to be able to sleep. This is the time for all of us to raise our voices and to say this country is also our country, is also the country of our immigrants, because we are the one who built it.
Dr. John Henry Clark said it, and it's still true today. We have no friends. And when I say we, that's not just foundational Black Americans. It also includes the brothers and sisters from the diaspora who are fed up with how tribalism and tetherism destroyed Africa and the Caribbean's chance to gain real power. The people trashing foundational Black Americans lately, the ones who are hollering about the end of TPS, these people were not helping us to fight white supremacy to begin with. They certainly weren't helping forward Black empowerment. Whether it makes people uncomfortable or not to admit it, the loyalty system in Africa and the Caribbean is broken. That's why there's no unity there. It's every man for himself. And they brought that here. You got enclaves in the US where the only thing that they could agree on was ingratiating themselves with white power at FBA's expense. But it wasn't foundational Black Americans who ended TPS. It was the very white power structure that so many of these immigrants thought that they were a part of. Shouldn't that be who they focus their anger at? But even now, they're unable to do it. They're not going to do it. Now, people like that so-called Dr. Gabot in Massachusetts, who was talking about immigrants built America, among other delusions. These individuals are saying that people aren't sleeping very well tonight. Well, it's a fact that Black immigrants make up a disproportionate number of the Congressional Black Caucus. All of these Black immigrants and children of immigrants that these white political parties put in power, where are they at now? Seriously, has anyone seen Westmore caping for immigrants this week? How about Ilhan Omar or Joe Negussi or Stephen Horsford? Oh, they had a whole lot to say prior to this. They were bragging about being the children of immigrants. They were flying that foreign flag high and proud. But now everybody's keeping their heads down. I don't see any of these political chumps sticking their heads up, not even the tether supreme Barack Obama himself. And it's been precisely these do-nothings who a lot of these immigrants have been oh so proud of because they thought these guys were proof that immigrants were doing better than foundational Black Americans. That's where you got people like the folks that we've been highlighting for the last week or so, people claiming that, oh, well, we work harder than you guys do. And why, look at how much progress we made in just one generation, etc. Even though you look at their country for the last 200 years and you've seen none of that. But most of all, they thought that the ascension of these cherry-picked immigrants in politics was proof that the white power structure would help to replace foundational Black Americans. That's why when that Gabot woman was yelling her head off about how immigrants built the country, how could she say that when she herself just got here? You see, so many of these immigrants refer to the civil rights movement and the abolitionist movement when none of their folks were even in the country until after the civil rights movement was over. But they reference it nonstop anyway, as if it was their personal experience. And that's because, as we've seen with the Congressional Black Caucus, they're willing to repeat the lie that America is always making progress on race, and most importantly, they oppose reparations. So they understand exactly the game that they're playing. They're going to be the black faces trying to palm themselves off as specifically foundational Black Americans and absolving America of all of its crimes when nothing's been done at all. The CBC and their well-wishers fight against everything that we've fought for. And for a time, it seemed like white power was content to play along with them. But now white supremacy is yanking back everything that it gave them, cutting off the government programs, and I'm not hearing all that bragging anymore. And they clearly understand that they can't go to any of these immigrants in government. The same broken loyalty system that was rampant at home, they brought that here too. Dr. Claude Anderson has often talked about what he calls inappropriate behavior. By that, he usually means in terms of group economics, don't spend your money with people who are anti-Black. But he also means it in terms of our response to crises. Because while things have been going straight to hell for Haitians, what has the response from Haitian activists been to all this?
Then sings my soul.
Family, this is not just inappropriate, this is impotent. You know, the Bible talks about wailing and gnashing of teeth. Well, in this case, it's just wailing. I suppose if any of those ICE agents aren't wearing hearing protection, this guy could get them to go away, but this is not a plan. When you're facing a crisis, that's not the time to be belting out a few notes. But I guess for a lot of these guys and these immigrant activist groups, they're trying to do their own imitation of what they think foundational Black Americans have done during the civil rights movement, all of that singing, we shall overcome, etc. These guys don't even know that that playbook is so out of date, it's not even funny anymore. What's going on right now was decades in the making. This didn't just happen with Trump's second term. Hell, he was already telling them during his first term that he was teeing them up for exactly this outcome. Now, you would think that these immigrants would be contacting the tethers that they've had in Congress, but when you go to the CBC's website, you get the feeling that maybe they already tried. All you got to do is look at the CBC website's so-called homepage, and you look for what they call the latest news, and you see that they're all happy about Trump's 14th Amendment executive order being turned down by the Supreme Court. And as for Trump ending TPS and the plight of the Haitians, they literally put that at the bottom of their homepage. So that's how much of a priority the immigrants in the Congressional Black Caucus think the Haitians are. That TPS ruling, by the way, happened before the 14th Amendment ruling by the Supreme Court. In fact, the 14th Amendment ruling was literally the last thing the Supreme Court did before they slithered out the door for recess. And yet the CBC's acting like that's the only thing that mattered. The TPS ruling, and hence the Haitians, are being treated as an afterthought, a distant afterthought. So all these immigrants from Africa and the Caribbean are in Congress. You got all this screaming and yelling from Haitian immigrants, and these tethers in Congress are ignoring them. What we're seeing is they've duplicated the exact same hopelessly dysfunctional governmental structure that they had in the countries they came from. Individuals who are unbelievably corrupt, self-interested opportunists who have nothing but pure contempt for their own people, and who are so slavishly beholden to white power that they're violently opposed to so much as listening to their own constituents, even in times of crisis, especially if white power is going in on them. So the same way that African leaders come to the U.S. and say nothing about how the U.S. government treats their people, you got these immigrants in the CBC who are saying nothing about the treatment of their own fellow immigrants. The reason these groups can't unite against these attacks on themselves is because all they've done is hyperfixate on attacking us. It's the only thing they've actually been able to agree on as a group. But that's not going to do them any good on this one. And that's the reason why we've got all of this flailing in front of the cameras and screaming and wailing. It's a matter of people sitting here trying to pretend as if they can tell the Supreme Court, you can't do this when they've already done it. This is what happens when you decide that hating foundational Black Americans is going to be your MO. Hating us is the unifying principle for most of these immigrants. It's what the white supremacists did because they were at each other's throats since time immemorial. And in the 20th century, after they had enslaved and colonized everything in sight, they went right back to slaughtering one another. But what can't be emphasized enough is that the disease of anti-Black racism didn't stop at Europe's shores. It's not limited to the white supremacist either. You have these other groups who come from countries where even though there's no Black people, they still practice rabid, often violent anti-Black racism. We know that the Europeans, whether they be in Eurasia, the US, or Australia, or wherever, they would be killing each other if they didn't have that essential distraction of Black people to focus on. If Black people didn't exist, they would have had to make us up. There's a book called The Invention of the White Race by Theodore Allen. It's a 2-volume work where he documented the origins of the idea of white as a race. And one of the things he focused heavily on was the British colonization of Ireland, where they used all the same verbiage and the same legal-based repression that they could, and how this demonstrated all the methods and practices these white supremacists from Britain would come to use in the US. Only in Ireland, they didn't use the word Black. Well, these other groups, these alleged people of color, they also do the exact same things. Look at the racist Latinos on the LA City Council. The ringleader of that bigoted brown barrio gang was Nuri Martinez. And during those secret recordings, she also was denigrating and insulting other Mexicans like herself because their particular ethnic group was shorter or of a slightly darker hue, etc. But this is the reason why the Spaniards were able to take Mexico with only a few hundred men. And especially when some of those conquistadors started having children by the locals and then telling those unwanted children that they had some minor connection to them. But of course, they only did that to confuse the internal politics of this buffer group and give them just enough of a lie to make them chase the carrot of finally being part of the white Blanco ruling class. Of course, it never happened and never would, but they chased that delusion there and they brought that same practice here. And everyone knows that the only way to ingratiate yourself with the white supremacist is to show that you hate Black people more than they do. That's the foundation of white supremacy. And if you want to be a part of it, you got to show that you're dedicated to it. That's why everyone who wants to get in good with the dominant society and try to become honorary members of the oppressor class always does the exact same thing. Attack Black people, primarily foundational Black Americans. See, these immigrants, they learn the rules of racism pretty fast, even the ones who come from Africa and the Caribbean. And since foundational Black Americans are the only threat there's ever been to white supremacy, of course they have to attack us, because these other groups are also terrified of having to operate in a meritocracy. They want the exact same handouts and giveaways that white supremacy gives to those it classifies as white. And we also saw these exact same practices copied with other groups from Asia, for example. When they came to the US, they were not in charge of it. And there were some who, at the very least, didn't see the advantage of reigniting the same ethnic conflicts that they had back in Asia. But there's some Asian groups like the East Asians who look down on the Southern Asians. People like the so-called comedian who never made anyone laugh, Bobby Lee, who was caught on a recording calling Southeast Asians jungle Asians. There's serious rancor among these Asian ethnic groups. So they too found that they needed a distraction. So they also jumped on the anti-Black bandwagon. Anti-Black racism is the only glue that binds a lot of these groups together because it's the only thing that provides a ready distraction for them. Someone other than themselves that they can focus on. Anti-Black racism really is the only thing that all these other folks can actually agree upon. White supremacy created a phony hierarchy, and as these other groups see it, even if they're not at the top, and they aren't, white power has artificially placed them in a position where they're not at the bottom either. And they depend on it, they rely on it. And they're determined to fight to perpetuate it. But what they never counted on was that foundational Black Americans were going to get back on code again and take a very hardline stance on these issues. They were just so sure that that was never going to happen. They figured that the whole Pan-African unity kick, that was going to go on for eternity. But as the old saying goes, if something can't go on forever, it won't. And now, inevitably, here we are. Now, for all the folks who back in 2015, they had their knees knocking and they were sweating bullets and chewing their fingernails and chattering their teeth to bits because they were terrified at the prospect of Trump becoming president, I told you then that there was nothing the orange man was going to try to do to us that hadn't been going on all along. A lot of people didn't understand that. This is not to say that Trump becoming president was a good thing for us. He certainly wasn't on our side. But the only difference is he's a more far more verbose and blatant example of the same kind of racism that we got from Joe Biden and the exact same contempt for foundational Black Americans that we got from Barack Obama. Better an honest enemy than a false friend. Say what you want about the orange man, God knows I do. But the one thing you got to give him credit for is he's made it where everybody has to put their cards on the table. Everybody has to say where they stand. In order to deal with a racist who's this open and blatant, well, that's going to require the so-called opposition party to actually oppose him. And what we're seeing is now the Democrats, they've been making more common cause with him than not. And this is what these immigrants didn't understand. What they thought to themselves was that as long as they dumped on foundational Black Americans, they were playing the game. And they love to pat themselves on the back for it because of how successful they claimed that they were. You see, whenever you got these Haitians and others who are opening up businesses, I've been telling you for the longest time, these banks have got all of these loans set aside just for immigrants. Hell, you had people like Elizabeth Warren sending them letters saying, we're reminding you, you're not supposed to be asking about people's legal status in the country. You're not supposed to be asking whether or not they're in the country legally or not. For the last 50 years, there's been an entire legal and economic scaffolding that white power put in place in order to make sure that these immigrants would be propped up and that they would be economically bootstrapped in order to leapfrog over foundational Black Americans. Because when you're trying to set up buffer groups, that's how you do it. We tried to explain to these folks from the Caribbean and Africa that they were playing a very dangerous game, that they were dancing with the devil, but they didn't listen to us. The exact same way that the folks in the Caribbean didn't listen to Marcus Garvey, and the exact same way that the people in Haiti didn't actually listen to their freedom fighters either. That's why Haiti won the war, but lost the peace. And having never actually dealt with their issues before, what happened was when they fled to the United States, they repeated the exact same pattern here. You can't run from your problems. You have to face them. And trying to use foundational Black Americans as a distraction doesn't work. Now, there are a lot of folks from the Caribbean and Africa who are confused, but these white supremacists are showing that they've never been confused. They know exactly who their enemy has been. They love that whole tactic of playing both sides against the middle. That's a ploy that's as old as the Romans. And trying to use some third-party group as a political distraction and using that as a unifying principle, that's also another trick that's as old as the Romans. But the problem for a lot of these groups now is foundational Black Americans are getting on code. And the glue of hating us, that's not going to be holding any of this stuff together anymore. Because when we took the principled step of removing ourselves from a lot of these situations just to see what the world these guys would do, what we find is they collapsed. They're falling apart. They needed us. Now, this is not to say that they're going to be rolling over and doing the right thing. They're going to fight hard as hell not to. As far as they're concerned, justice, equality, meritocracy, that would be the best of all possible worlds for us. But for them, it would be the end. And their problem is, we're not going to do anything to stand in the way. Good day, and be one.
Immigrants that continue to say we are going to be deported. You know, we got something that the rest of you don't have. We're written into the Constitution. We've been citizens for a very long time. And some of y'all want to pretend like we can be deported, and once deported, we have nowhere to go. No such thing is going to happen. The problem is y'all come to this land and you don't bother to learn anything about the people here. You don't bother to learn about the history, nothing. So, you caught being a complete fool, sitting around saying that we're going to be deported. Now, guess who's jumping on the bandwagon with this BS? Asians. Now, we've been putting up with this crap from the Africans and the Latinos, but now you can add the Asians to the list of people saying we're going to get deported. First of all, you are immigrants. How do you come to this land and tell actual citizens they're going to be deported? Where the hell do you get off doing that? If anything, your ass will be out of here way faster than we will. You can bet that. You will be out of here long before we will. But it takes a lot of nerve to come on somebody else's land and talk about they're going to be deported like you got more rank up in here than the actual citizen. Y'all need to go home. Asians go home, Latinos go home, Africans go, all of y'all, get the hell out of here. Come on. The bottom line is we got more right to be in this land than you ever will. And you see how fast the government is going after all you, going after the Somalians, never stop going after the Latinos. And Asians, there's videos of y'all being deported too, because y'all all came in here illegally. And if anything, there's probably just as many illegal Asians as there are illegal Latinos up in here. A lot of these Asians, the big majority of them that you're looking at are not here legally either. They're not. And you can best believe many of these hair shop and nail shops and everything they got, I bet every dime in my wallet, if they got raided, you'll find out many of the people working up in there are illegal. So let's get into this, y'all. This is so rich. I'm sorry my forefathers helped y'all get in here. It was the biggest mistake ever. We should have worried about ourselves and our survival up in this racist country and worry a lot less about getting y'all in here. Biggest mistake ever. Curly Locks, thank you so much for the super chat. Shalom, y'all, and Miss Lisa, blessed family listening. Thank you so much for your support. I deeply appreciate it. All right, let's get started. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it a thou wow with y'all, right? I grew up in Brooklyn around a lot of immigrants, a lot of Haitians, Jamaicans, Trinis, Guyanese, and all that. And they asked me how I feel about them targeting the Haitians and targeting immigrants for deportation, right? And this is what I say. Hell yeah! Deport them niggas. They don't like black Americans anyway. Yeah, yeah.
Being black in America is funny to everybody except us, because we actually have to live through all the BS. We've had to live through it, and we continue to live through it. And now we have comedians who are finding humor in their racist jokes against us.
And my only problem with ICE is that they're going after every minority group except black people. I mean, you're trying to reduce crime. You're just giving them more room to breathe. But I understand. Can you imagine the shape you have to be in to deport black people?
Ooh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the Asians and the Latinos. Oh, yeah. I don't know if y'all know or not, but yeah, they out here talking about they want us deported. Boy. Let me tell y'all something. You ain't deporting us. You're not deporting the grassroots, foundational Black Americans. You're not doing that. You're not doing that. And let me tell y'all something. This our land right here. Like y'all sitting over here talking about deporting us. This is our land right here. Oh yeah, it's our land right here, baby. You can tell us to go all you want to. We ain't making no moves. Y'all get the hell up out of here. This is not your country. Don't get mad and want us up out of here because you see y'all can't maneuver like we do. Oh yeah, see what we got going on over here. It's way bigger than Nino Brown, baby. Oh, this is bigger than Nino Brown. So y'all just get y'all little asses up out of here. Don't worry about us. That's why that man Trump over here deporting Haitians and everybody else about this motherfucker. When you wonder why we ain't leaving, don't worry about it. We ain't leaving. I'm so tired of y'all foreigners want to come against the foundation of Black Americans like we the problem. We ain't the problem. If anybody the problem, it's y'all and Mr. Charlie. Y'all been the problem. Foundational Black Americans, we sit over here in this country and we fight for shit that y'all have gained from. Y'all ain't hear all this little crazy stuff about that. Yeah, talking about somebody that we should be deported. No. Y'all need to be deported like he doing. And the day that he feet that Black Americans and foundational FBAs is gonna get deported, it's gonna be a problem. Trust me. Not like y'all just sit back docile and let shit happen. Don't keep coming at us. We ain't did nothing to nobody. We ain't invaded nobody's stuff. We ain't took nobody's stuff. We ain't killed people on a large scale. We ain't did none of that. Our folks is delusion. But tell me what you think about this. It's your boy Big Queen back with another one. Like shit, chime in. You already know.
Oh, these motherfucking damn migrants is mad at us, telling us we on welfare, asking Mr. Trump to put us and take us out the plantation. We plantation workers and all of this so damn bullshit. What's this bitch name? This is specifically at you, Michi Boo, you raggedy ass MF. You can take your dumb ass and keep it at the house. It's shit that you saying is the reason why we do not want you motherfuckers in our goddamn country. And it's time for you damn raggedy bitches to get the fuck out. We ain't on welfare. As a matter of fact, the majority of us work and doing better than you. If it's anything about on welfare, it's you raggedy bastards that's on welfare, taking everything that you got from us. If it wasn't for the hard work and the sweat equity that built America, you raggedy lazy bastards wouldn't be able to be here in the first fucking place. I'm getting tired of everybody feel like they can shit on Black Americans as if we're not the reason that you dummies are in this motherfucker in the first place. What's your name? Michi Boo. This is directly to you. My mama wasn't on welfare. My grandmama wasn't on welfare. My great-grandmama wasn't on welfare. All them women worked and had jobs. Home owners. Business owners. What the fuck do your people got to show forward? You in our fucking house talking shit to us. We don't owe y'all to sweat our five nuts. And it's the reason why Black Americans are glad that you going the fuck home. Michi Boo. Y'all need to watch y'all mouth, you arrogant assholes. All y'all do is talk shit about Black Americans. The reason why we glad is y'all come here with negative attitudes. Y'all look down on us. You talk shit to us like we're not relevant. We are the culture. The majority of you Haitians are on welfare. The majority of you Black foreigners are on welfare. You come here getting benefits and welfare that we can't get. But you run off at your ragged ass mouth, Michi Boo. You need to shut the fuck up. That's what you need to do. Y'all are broke bastards. That's the reason why you here roaching and crying because you got to go to fuck home. Y'all playing a dangerous game with the wrong set of people. And the more you fuckers talk, the more we are going to make sure that none of you ever get a chance to come back in our country that we built. You raggedy heifer. Meet you, boo. How the fuck you gonna tell us that we broke, that we are plantation workers, and we don't spend the majority of our damn lives on welfare when we the richest Black people on the fucking planet? You jaundiced face ass ML for you. And the thing about it is, you claiming that you working so damn hard that y'all do all of this shit in the nursing homes, but y'all don't do nothing but beat our damn ancestors and make their life miserable and defraud the goddamn nursing homes that you work at. That's what you do. Thinking musty bitch, telling us that we lazy and we squandered opportunities, but you come here on scam ass documents, taking opportunities that we traditionally had for us. But you Kong Pao chicken face bitches don't realize that shit. We ain't on Obamacare. Section 8 and welfare wasn't created for us. It was created for the motherfuckers that you bootlicking to. Y'all need to get y'all shit together. That's what the fuck you need to do, Michi Boo. You making declarations for what the fuck Trump need to do to us, but Trump making sure that your ass don't never get back up in here. Because if it wasn't for Black Americans, you Haitians or you motherfucking Africans or none of you Caribbeans would be able to bring your lackluster ass up here to make a damn living in the first place. You musty motherfuckers.
You're the problem because my post is about Black Americans, which you're not a Black American, even though you want to cosplay as one, because you already said that your parents are immigrants. So unless one of your parents is a Black American, you're not a Black American. And you already said that you were Caribbean. So you saying that you're Black American is not correct because Black American is an ethnicity, honey. And not only that, you're commenting on a post that's in response to somebody calling Black Americans white because we are stating that if you are not in favor of Black Americans receiving reparations, then you do not deserve us to care about your issues because you're not caring about ours. It's giving that y'all move here, y'all migrate here, and you believe that Black Americans are still the slaves of the land and that we're supposed to continuously work for every other group while we sit back and we get nothing in return. Every fight that Black Americans have fought for in this country, unfortunately, we have not been able to reap the full benefits of each and individual thing that we fought for. Every system put in place that immigrants get when they come here, because as much as y'all like to deny that y'all don't get assistance, that's a bold-faced lie. That's a bold-faced lie. Y'all be talking about, I came here with no money in my pocket and all of a sudden y'all own businesses, y'all own cars, y'all own homes. Please, please stop it. This is that xenophobic, anti-Black American rhetoric that I'm talking about. Anytime we bring up anything that's a specific issue within the Black American ethnicity community, here comes one of you talking about y'all are bigger than the program. Y'all really think that we should put our stuff aside and concentrate on you? Latinos are not in community with Black Americans. Like, let's be for real. Y'all talking about Afro-Latinos, the same ones who come over here and claim everything as our culture is theirs and say that we have no culture. I just seen a video of a Puerto Rican girl saying that it's not Black American culture in Chicago, where a ton of not South American, Black people from the South moved to Chicago. That's why there's such a high population of Black Americans. And our very culture, a whole bunch of Puerto Ricans are in the Puerto Rican parade doing Black American dances to Black American sounds, inspired sounds, and had the audacity talking about, this isn't Black American, this is Chicago culture. That's the erasure that y'all do when you come here. So absolutely not. We are not going to care about your issues anymore. The fact that we bring up our issues that are impacting our culture, and in response, you guys always bring up whatever issue that is impacting you like it's bigger than the program. It's not bigger than the program, babes. We, as the newest generations that are coming up, we are no longer putting other communities ahead of ours for the sake of just Blackness. Because when y'all come here, y'all make it super clear that y'all are a different type of Black. Y'all only want to say that y'all are united in Blackness because when it benefits you. Remember, I know Black. That's right. You're not, because Blackness has always been established in the United States of America as our ethnicity. Blackness has not been established as an ethnicity in any other part of this world. Blackness is a race, and also in America for foundational Black Americans, it's an ethnicity. So you can take your yap off my page, because at the end of the day, over here, it's Black American pride. Black American. So don't cosplay Black American unless you have a parent who's actually Black American, because the only parent that you spoke on was your mother, and you said that she was an immigrant. So I don't know what your father is. Maybe you're half Black American, but let's not get it twisted. My post is about seeking reparations, not about immigration. Bye-bye.
And you know what, y'all, the irony about this whole thing? You know who's getting their asses the hell up on out of here? White people. And you notice no group addresses white people. Africans don't, Caribbeans don't, Latinos damn sure don't, because they think they're part of the white population. And it's funny how everybody will come and make a beeline to us to insult us, to just put falsehoods out about us and everything. But at the end of the day, it's people like Donald Trump and his MAGA crew, his crowd. They are the biggest ones that are up in these courts fighting to get you out of here. It's Donald Trump that's fighting, taking it all the way to the Supreme Court to fight to get y'all out of here. Y'all don't have not one single disparaging word to say about these white folks that are getting your ass out of here, but you got nothing but smoke for us. This is why I will never respect none of you groups out here. You don't have a backbone. You're scared of white people. That's why you won't address white people, because y'all are scared. And you can tell when we're talking about ourselves, this is Africans. Well, what about the white man? What are the white people going to think? We don't give a fuck about what they think, but y'all care. Y'all always, but if you notice, every time we go back and forth with Africans, they always bringing up white people, even on topics that have nothing to do with white people. They bring up white people. And then you have Jamaicans. I've heard Jamaicans and Haitians and even Latino. Oh, the white people like us better than you. No, actually, they don't. They don't like anything with melanin. Okay? They look at you as other. They look at all of you immigrants as other. So you're under the delusion that they like you because they may come up and tell you, oh yeah, y'all work so hard and you do this and do that. Yeah, they know how to pump your head up. That doesn't mean they like you. And the fact that they are trying to get you out, the Haitians, they're going to start deporting them, y'all, as of July 1st. They're not even giving them a moment. They are getting them out of here starting July 1st. But y'all want to be talking to us and trying to get with us online, because you Haitians have been something else over these last couple of days. Since the Supreme Court ruling, we seem to be your object of attack. We did not take this TPS stuff to the Supreme Court. That's all Donald Trump and his people. But like I said, y'all, your actions tell me y'all are petrified of white people. I know Latinos are. They won't even open their mouth to say white people. So, all of y'all are petrified. So that being said, because of the kind of hateful things y'all are online saying, I can't wait for them to get your asses the hell up on out of here. Y'all are nasty. Go home and fix up them broken ass looking lands that y'all come from. Nary one of you come from a land that looks halfway decent. All of your lands look like shit. And you've been there for centuries. So there's no excuse for it to look like shit, but it does. But since y'all want to run around talking about you built everything, when you get home, in about a year after you get there, show us what you built. Show us what you built since you built everything. You knuckleheads still got dirt roads up in your countries. All of you do. Puerto Rico, Haiti, Jamaica, all of the South American countries, y'all all got freaking dirt roads with no signs, no street lights at night, none of that. But you're over here talking about us being lazy. Y'all are lazy. Anytime your homeland looks like pure shit and you haven't done anything to fix it up or make it look better, you're lazy. You're lazy. And what kind of person won't fix their country but go to another land to fix it? You sound like a bunch of idiots. So anyway, y'all, this is where we are. So now the Asians and the Latinos are back on. You deport the Black Americans. You go home. You go home. It's been 60 years of being around y'all, and it's been 60 years wasted as far as I'm concerned. Y'all go home. So y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you so much for
So there are many archetypes of self-hating Black people, but there is a form that I rarely see people mention under this category: gang members or some of these street dudes. Now, y'all already know me. I am a person that doesn't look at things linear. If we go back, gangs started off as something that was of value. But in 2026, these shits have completely lost their aura. The reason I'm even doing this video is because of a clip from a No Jumper interview that completely pissed me off.
I see I'm banging on everything. Only people I'm not banging on is white boys and Mexicans. You feel me? They not my people.
We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. It's regular that I'm a bang on everything Black that I see.
This is the mindset that these people wanted us to harbor. Fools like we just seen right there don't even know that all of this was constructed for him to have that mentality. Gangs started off as something positive. These were organizations to protect Black communities, but this Black unity was always a threat. Richard Nixon's aide said it best himself. Richard Nixon viewed an uncontrolled Black power movement as a major threat to the internal security of the United States during the late 1960s and early 1970s. So all of these gangs ended up getting disrupted through things such as the crack epidemic, heroin flooding these communities, then having the war on drugs, mass incarceration. The structure was taken out of place. And in 2026, what we now see are dumbass niggas like him running around leading the charge. So I want to break down the clip. He stated first, when I see a Black man, I'm on him. The only people that get a pass are the white men and the Hispanic men, people that don't look like him. I want to first address that Black on Black crime isn't a real thing. All crime is proximity based. Black people tend to live near Black people. White people tend to live near white people. This is why white on white crime is so high. It's in the 80s. Black on Black crime, though, is upped because of dumbass people like him, the gangbangers. These are a small, very small portion of Black men that are killing each other. This stereotype then gets amplified in music, TV shows, movies. And this is why people have the stigma of Black men, even though most of us are law-abiding citizens. I lead by example. And the sad thing is, the white boy and the Mexican don't see it that way. He sees you as the enemy. And this is why it pisses me off when I see all of these white men hop online and talk about, oh man, we're scared of Black people. We're scared of this. We're scared of that. 9 times out of 10, bro, if you walk through the hood, you would go untouched. These people would be so friendly to you. The Black person you run into might just greet you and say, hey, sir, hi, sir. I might get into a confrontation with the brother because we stare too long. That exists in some of these inner city neighborhoods. And even in the clip, right, Adam 22 and the other white man gonna tell him, I appreciate it. He gonna sit there like, yeah, like these dudes be so hard until it's really time to be hard. There is no reason that George Zimmerman is still walking around here. There are still sundown towns all around through America. And none of these KKK leaders of these towns or none of these white Hispanic men that did things to Black people go untouched. They'll easily go slide through the op block full of black people, Black kids, and spray it down. But when it's these white folks, and like he stated, these Mexicans, they get docile.
I'm making this video for all y'all dumbass YNs. Y'all keep all that gang banging, blood, crip, jitty shit the fuck from around me, okay? I don't tolerate none of that shit. I don't support none of that dumbass shit. I don't even think about none of that stupid ass negative shit, okay? Like, nigga come in my life, tell me who you be. That nigga had made me so mad with that shit. 2026 still ask nigga who you be. Bro, it ain't 2016, it ain't 2015, it ain't 2014. Who still just banking blood outright all day, every day in 2026? If you ain't behind the wall game, let that shit go. Y'all nigga be in a free world still tonight on P45, on blood, on crip, on mom.
Just a whole bunch of organizations whose main target is killing niggas.
GD, nigga, that shit sold. What the hell? Get you some money, gang. You can't call now one of your homies and now one of your big homies for nothing in the world, but you claim this shit. Oh, you already got
nothing, bro. And what irks me is that if you a fucking 30-year-old gangbanger and you got kids, man, I most definitely don't feel no damn pity for you, boy. If you don't get your damn CDL, if you don't get a warehouse job, duck off and stack your bread and take care of your family, bro, that gangbanging shit is dead. It's not gonna get you anywhere. But we see examples time and time again. The streets, you're either going to end up in prison or fucking dead. And there is a slim window that you make it out. You know what I'm saying? So like, we clearly see the examples. Come on, bro.
Like this shit stupid as fuck. Y'all, I'm a nigga from Atlanta who gonna tell y'all nigga look damn it here, dick that. Like I eat into the dick. And y'all, oh, I'm big blood this, big blood that. Nigga, get your stupid dumb ass on. You ain't even finish high school, but you talking about your blood. You don't even know what the hell feel like to walk across the stage, but you talking about your blood. You ain't even never had no job in your life, but you talking about your blood. Get your dumb ass on. You a dumb ass nigga who gonna be right down the road where you need to be. Stupid. I tell all y'all niggas the same shit. All y'all niggas just dumb. That nigga not your own man. That nigga don't got your own brain. Don't got your own heart. Ain't brave for the damn in the world. Cause if you was a brave, you your own man, you gonna be like, hell nah, fuck that blood shit, fuck that crip shit. Cause get what it's about. It ain't about nothing. It ain't about nothing.
It ain't about getting no money. And your main target is other Black people. It's nothing. It's pointless, bro. It's pointless.
They made it. Y'all banging this shit for nothing. Give me one reason why y'all nigga be banging for Pete on that, whatever sex y'all niggas is. Give me a real reason why the fuck y'all nigga banging this shit. A positive reason.
Now, I do want to add some nuance. A lot of this shit be so deeply tied into like bloods, like not the gang, but like too much bloodshed, right? Some shit that happened years ago. Somebody got killed, then they got to get revenge. It's like a pattern, and they don't even know why they're beefing now. But that's why, man, we just got to be the bigger man with each other, especially with each other. Like, we got to give each other grace. There's so much money to be made out here. There's so many ways for us to thrive. Let that shit go.
I reading that they blow. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Y'all need to be ready to bang the color red before y'all bang y'all skin color. That shit stupid as fuck.
Hey, that's a bar. Y'all niggas ready to bang a fucking street whatever instead of banging your skin color, nigga. Preach. That's what I'm. Hey, this brother's spitting, man. So right here, man, we got a clip of some gamers walking around, and I want y'all to watch it.
What's up, bro? You gang bang?
Nah.
You sure?
Positive.
All right, 39th Street. Yep.
I already know what it is. Yeah, cause of my bad, brother. You good?
I mean, this is some of the most corniest shit, dog. I mean, it truly is. Y'all could be doing so much better things with y'all life instead of pressing other black men. LA gangs, they have this check-in culture. I mainly see it in California. I know other states may do it, Texas, but mainly in California. Every time a black celebrity is supposed to be somewhere in there, one of these fucking big homies come out of the way talking about, hey, bro, you need to check in with us. You need to check in. Nigga, who the fuck are you? I don't see none of y'all making Tom Cruise check in. Y'all not making Leonardo DiCaprio check in. Y'all aren't making Elon Musk check in. So why does this black person have to check in for, he's not even a gang member. This is what I mean again. Y'all love to press other black men, but when it's time to press these other people, you don't do it.
What's the deal? I'm from ATF Compton Crib. I'm from Hell yeah. I'm from ATF Compton Crib. I'm from Compton, California. Yeah. That's how y'all feeling?
Yeah. And them look like some Hispanics.
What's up?
Oh, yeah,
What are you guys doing right here? We just doing a little interview. You guys are rappers or what? Yeah, I'm a rapper. Fucking A gang. That's A gang. I got it right here. You see it's on my neck. Salute. I'm A gang too. I fuck with my Mexicans and all that. They're homies.
Y'all hear that shit, bro? But if that was a black man that came through asking them questions, he would have got blowed down. Salute.
What you want to call?
Oh shit!
I met you in Bassett.
What's up?
I remember.
What's up? When we doing something?
Not on that. Yeah.
Damn, what's up? Yeah.
You're good. You're good. Everything running.
So that's it for this video. And yeah, man, this video pissed me off. We have to kill this gang mindset. And like I state all the time, all of this was pre-planned. This was how a lot of these folks wanted this to be. It's like a trap though, man. You know, they set it out. Okay, you fall for it the first time. Set it out again, okay? You fall for it again. You be aware. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Come on, bro. We know what's going on. We know these people game plan. Yes, gangs started off as a positive thing for the black community, but that is not the case. That shit is dead. But look, dog, that's it for this video.
Cool. Follow me.